out. He had a warrant on him for over 2 months. Law enforcement in Tucson, Arizona didn't really see the need to serve that warrant. So he put a knife to our daughter's side and he led her off into a nightmare of repeated rape. My wife, Tressa, raise your hand, baby.
Please do, yes.
She woke me up. She couldn't sleep. She was up that night because our daughter wasn't home. And she woke me up crying, saying, "Oh my God, baby, it's Aspen. She's been raped." And I could hear my baby girl screaming through the phone, hysterically. And so I woke up from a deep sleep and set about getting our daughter back. We were driving her to the hospital before the sun even came up, and thank God we got her back at all. I'm grateful to have her. But I asked her, I said, "Sweetie, you can either have me try to insulate you from this and try to make it all go away, or you can fight back. And if you fight back, they're gonna probe you and test you and question you in a lot of ways that are going to be very disruptive and invasive and emotionally painful and physically painful for you. It's your choice, and we will support you either way." To be honest, I thought she would say, "I just don't want to deal with this. I don't want to talk about it. Make it go away." But my wife is Irish Cherokee, and I was a Navy SEAL, and our daughter didn't hesitate. She says, "Papa, this guy's got to go down. He can't be allowed to do this anymore." And so we did. We went about the process of dealing with law enforcement, making sure that he got brought to justice. It took them 2.5 years to put him on trial. And in that time frame, during that delay and that series of re-traumatization of our daughter, every time the court system would call and say, "Yeah, he's been given another of his 14 public defenders that he keeps firing, and the trial has been delayed yet again." During this 2.5 years of this re-traumatization of our daughter over and over again, my team was running joint operations with federal and local law enforcement arresting child predators. She said, "Papa, I want to run an operation with you as one of your junior decoy agents." I said no. But my wife betrayed me. My wife said, "You should let her fight back, Craig. It'd be good healing." My team said, "You should let her fight back, Craig. It'd be good healing." Her counselor said, "You should let her fight back. It would be good healing." And then finally my daughter looked at me and she said, "Papa, I'm going to do this with or without you." And I was like, "God help me." So I said, "Okay, girl, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this with Papa, my way, under my wing, with my team, with a house full of SWAT team where I control the security." She said, "That's right, good answer." And we did, and she fought back. And we got 9 predators on that operation in Utah, 100% conviction rate on all of them. She did that. She fought back, and we can too. There's a right way to fight back, folks. We are not about rioting and looting and burning our cities down and pulling the elderly out of their vehicles and beating them to death. My God, what kind of maniacal terrorism is that? We're not about that. We're about doing the positive thing, lead by example, show people the right way to return our culture back to a healthy, productive, orderly society where we can all be free and happy and thrive. So her rapist was finally brought to trial. Long story short, they convicted him 68 years in prison. So he won't be raping anymore, ladies or kids. But we have a silent epidemic, folks, in the United States. It's kept scarily quiet. I'll turn on the news and I'll see dozens of arrests of child predators, and I'll turn on the news and I won't see them talking about it. Look, if you love people, folks, you want them empowered. Knowledge is power. You teach your children things because you want them empowered with that knowledge. As a leader, you inform your people of what they need to know to look after their best interests. The fact that our media is not telling us what's going on is a is a point of serious, serious concern. It's hostile. Coming from the intelligence community, I can tell you, knowledge is power. We spend a lot of taxpayers' dollars learning what our enemies are doing so that we can ultimately defend our people from it. Sadly, our news media doesn't seem to be on board with that objective of empowering the American people with the knowledge that they need to vote in their own best interests. It's all deceit now, it's disinformation. And more people need to know about it so that we can see through it and counter it and recreate a more healthy United States. So what's going on? Well, there is a covert war, but it's all-out total war against our United States. And it sounds crazy because where is it? I don't see it. Well, you have to understand what's going on and how ideological subversion works. And if you look at the Communist Manifesto, you look at what they've declared that they mean to do, they mean to take over. They mean to take over all of our academia to begin programming our children to want communism, socialism, Marxism. Well, you go into any liberal institution now of higher learning, and what you're going to hear is exactly that. Look at what you hear in the news media. Orange man bad, you want this commie guy over here, he's good. It's absolutely maniacal what's happening with the disinformation. We're not getting straight scoop. We have to go around the gatekeepers of the information now just to understand what's going on. Ideological subversion. If you're not familiar with Russian KGB agent Yuri Bezmenov's lectures, they're on YouTube. He defected from the KGB and he taught us about the Russians' ideological subversion campaign and how they mean to break the United States culture. They couldn't beat us with tanks, planes, and guns, so they had to break down what made our country strong, and that's our culture. The family unit, the core values, our patriotism, our unity, all those things had to go. And when you read their list of objectives way back in the 50s, you can see that they've checked a lot of those blocks off already. It's happened, and it's happening, and once you read that and listen to it, you understand what to do. G. Edward Griffin has a lot of videos on the same thing, and Diana West, folks. If you can write that down on your phones or take a note, Diana West, listen to her lectures. Very intelligent, extremely well studied, and they map it out for you. Knowledge is power. So they're out to demoralize our nation, ultimately to destabilize it. Well, you don't destabilize a nation that you love and whose people you want empowered. You destabilize a nation in order to take it over, to control it, to dominate it. So beware of those who are causing division, hatred, and trying to destabilize our precious, beloved United States. So I founded Veterans for Child Rescue officially 1 month after our daughter's abduction and rape. The paperwork came in officially 1 month later. We founded Veterans for Child Rescue. And the entire mission for V4CR is to expose the threat and eradicate it. So expose means informing the public. Well, I'm here to tell you, I know a lot of people that are corporate executives and billionaires and part owners of big tech. They can't tell me, look me in the eye, that they're not out to suppress the conservative voice, the American patriotic voice, because they are out to suppress it. I can post anything positive about my country and unity on any social media platform, boom, it is absolutely suppressed. And I'm hit with hundreds of private messages saying, Craig, all your stuff's hidden, I can't find you anywhere anymore. I'm like, wow, I could post an article that it's pretty cool to rape kids and it'd be just fine. But let's safeguard kids. No, that they don't want that out there because they see that as intolerant. Well, what about the victims? What about the children, folks? Anyway, expose and eradicate. That's our mission. So we filmed a very powerful expose documentary called Contraland. You can watch it for free at no charge on contralandmovie.com. Again, contralandmovie.com. You can watch it there any day. It's very revealing. We've got senior officials from the CIA, FBI, SEAL Team 6, university professors, experts, surviving victims and witnesses that show you what's really going on with child sex trafficking in the United States. It's empowering. Please go watch it. And that aired to 90 million people on Daystar Network on July 25th. We're grateful for that, but it's up 24/7 for you to watch it. So beware of the deceit, folks. It's a covert operation hunting and destroying our children in the United States. It's ugly. It's part of this entire ideological subversion campaign to shatter the minds of the children and turn them into a commodity and sell them. We've got to counter that. We've got to stand up for the little ones. My wife said to me once, she said, you know, on a spiritual level, what were these people thinking when they started these massive campaigns with millions and millions of abortion with Planned Parenthood, this infanticide campaign that flies in the face of everything that the Bible says that humans are supposed to be. You don't destroy your own offspring like that, like it's a sport. And look at the child trafficking, the murder, the rape, the sale, the torture of the children. What were they thinking was eventually going to happen? What would any father do? Think about it. And I'm like, God help us. As a nation, we have it upon us to denounce and drive from us or suffer the consequences of a nation that does this to children and is okay with it. We've got a crisis or a crossroads right now. We've got a decision to make. Are we going to be okay with a status quo that's so extensively abusive of God's most precious and innocent? Or are we going to stand up and go, you know what, we're moral and decent people and we're tolerant, but we're not tolerant of an eradication of our offspring and torturing of the innocent. We can't be okay with those things, right? That's not decent to allow that. And so rather than murdering and tearing things down and defunding our police and causing destruction and mayhem, well, let's stand up from a position of love and strength and start rebuilding our culture and making things better. And that involves getting rid of tyrannical leaders that don't honor our Constitution or our people.
Absolutely.
We have in Arizona, so we're from Arizona, and I can tell you, my wife's a real estate agent, we are overrun with refugees from California in record numbers. They're like, we can't afford anything there anymore. We can't go to church anymore. Newsom's like, this campaign of demoralizing the people and saying, we don't see any hope. We just be demoralized. We're never going back to work, never going back to church. Wear your mask, show fear. Just give up. Let the economy tank. And people are like, this, we don't know what kind of madness this is, but this is not the United States that we want to live in. So they're going to Arizona and even a lot of them to Texas. So I would say we need more of what those states have that people are fleeing California to get to. Look, people flee communist and socialist countries by the millions, desperately trying to invade the United States so they can get here and enjoy freedom and liberty that they don't have there. So if people are fleeing your state for that same reason, there's some change made that needs to be made. So I would say recalling a tyrannical governor is an absolutely necessity. It's an honorable and practical solution to a guy that's not honoring the laws, and he's just unilaterally going off on a tangent and causing such economic destruction that's not needed. We know now that the CDC's are already backed off and saying, well, of the less than 1%, only 6% of those was actually COVID only. So like, then that's not an epidemic. Why are we wearing masks then? Why can't we go to church? Why can't our kids go to school? The kids aren't even carriers. So what's going on? What's with the deceit? Why do they have to push and manipulate? Well, because they want to destabilize the United States. Breaking the economy is part of that destabilization process and agenda. So knowledge is power. An alert and informed American populace are hard targets, hard to put under the boot of tyrants. And so we've got to get loud and do it in a respectful, honorable way that people can look up to them and go, I want to be like those patriots. I don't want to be like the clowns over there beating up grandma. Okay? Let's be about something better, and let's attract them to the right thing for that. So look, there's nowhere else to retreat to after the United States, folks. It's not like we can forfeit and give up and retreat and go to some other country. This is it. This is the last bastion of freedom on the face of the planet. We have to stand here. There's nowhere else to go, and the time is now. We've got one election left before I don't think we'll be able to recover ever again, because the corruption is already that bad with the voter fraud. Let's repair our culture, folks. Let's rebuild it back into the America that we grew up knowing and loving and respecting and want our children to grow up in. Okay? Veterans for Child Rescue, I'm Craig Sawyer. Watch our documentary, Contraland. God bless you guys. Fight like heck. Do it honorably. And God bless the USA. Woo! Round of applause, guys. Doing great work. We ain't going to stand for this no longer. American patriots here.
Next, we have Pastor Fred Z. He's going to say some words for us. Welcome.